welcome back to the hottest marriage show in the metropolitan area of Detroit. It is I, John D.N., a.k.a. In Too Much Podcast, Rescripting the culture, one conversation at a time. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Good.
So, happy birthday, Monique.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Anything exciting today that you looking forward to, or?
Yes. So today I turned 45. It's really, I don't ever feel anything. After I turn 40 in a year, it doesn't really matter. I don't feel any different than how I felt the year before. But I love the events. So today we are in Detroit, instead of our regularly scheduled spot. And we had some good food so far. There was Mexican and Korean fusion, which I love. So that was a good spot to go to. Today, we checked into our hotel, and I love it's called an urban cabin, but I love it here. So I've been meaning to come back here for the last few years, and we ended up getting the room I wasn't expecting, but this has a better view. So high fives to the people giving me another room.
Oh, for sure.
And then we're going to make perfume de cologne today. So I look forward to that. Yes. So all of the excitement of today, but we took a pause so that we could get episodes out because John won't say it. Y'all see him so often on Growing Man and all of that, but I give him a hard time scheduling. To make our own recordings because, I'm all over the place. And so when he tries to wrangle me in, it just depends on where my brain is. Sometimes I'm just not in a mood. And sometimes he got to get me for 3 recordings in a day because I'm just that bad. But happy birthday to me. And then tomorrow,
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday. He ages a little bit more, but he looks so young, doesn't he? So anyway, are you excited about anything?
I was like the conversation we had before we started recording. I really enjoyed spending time with you. So to do it in a different place is like a guaranteed experience for us to remember. So the whole thing, everything is new.
I agree.
So being in the moment that's what people want to do, and we're actually doing it in real time, and you can record it.
Yeah. So what's on your mind?
How do you feel about getting advice from people who failed at the practice? Does that make sense?
Yes. You know what? I feel like I don't have a problem with them telling me what not to do. Probably more so of what to do. Because they have experience. If they haven't been successful at it, you could definitely tell me your pitfalls. But probably are not the one to tell me how to be successful at it. And I know a lot of people will feel, I felt this way before. Like if I did something the wrong way, I'll be like, oh, but if I'd have done it this way, it would have worked. Not necessarily true. You don't necessarily know if that's how it would pan out. So if somebody were to say, these are the things that I think you should avoid, I can get with that. Maybe not so much telling me what I should be doing, though. And usually when people pose things to you, it's to tell you what to do.
I don't know. I guess at 22 when I realized in my mind that I was further than my father, he told me not to get married. So he never gave me any kind of advice toward that other than you guys were going to eventually break my heart. But he couldn't have given me any of the information, but he did show he was remorseful for not being a better husband, as time went on. I'm sure any man would be remorseful for, any bad things that they may have done to a person. But I don't know. I just think it's really difficult for him to tell me how, if he was around when I married, he was like, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Even from your peer group.
Yeah.
You got people that's had experiences. They've had more experience than you. They've done it a particular way and they were not successful. And, they and I don't think they want to sound like that. It does come out really like they know the right way.
Well, I think that the goal is to give you something to help you be successful. But a lot of the times, if you just tell me what you did wrong and then I see the result, you could tell me what to do right, but if you didn't do it, then you can't tell me that that was necessarily right. But if you did something wrong, you're like, this is what I did, and these were the downfalls I had because of that. I can get behind that. It is like, so we were talking at lunch, and there was something that somebody said. It was like, don't let somebody they used a mean word, but basically was saying, don't let somebody with a mom that wasn't like a premier woman to tell you what a woman is supposed to be. And it makes me think about that. It's like, you can't, if all of what you've seen and experienced are poor examples, then don't come in and tell me what I should be or I shouldn't be. So that could go with how to pursue a career or whatever, but usually we talk about relationships. So if your parents are divorced, how do you know how to walk in and have a successful marriage? If your parents are forthcoming about what might have been their downfall, you'd at least have some ammo to say, these are the things that we need to avoid. Mm-hmm. But if you come from a divorced household, and this is not saying that there was ever a second marriage that was great or anything. I'm just saying your parents got a divorce and then that was the end of it. How are you going to come in to a marriage and then say, this is what I need my wife to be? This is what I need her to do. This is what I need, da-da-da-da. This is what I need my husband to be. But you may not have seen a good example of a husband or a wife. Their marriage didn't make it. So it's kind of difficult. But what you were saying also, you said that could translate into kids too.
Absolutely.
So, a lot of our kids, like I was telling him, we're very open with our kids. We tell them about our experiences with our parents, the things that upset us, the things that we felt like they did that weren't right. And then when we come around and we're like trying to be good parents, sometimes they can look at us and not in a disrespectful way, but say, and anyone's kids could look at it and be like, look at your mom and your mom's mom and you. Like, so you gonna tell me how are you gonna tell me how to be a woman? And y'all were acting like this. Like, I don't want to be like any of y'all. So, it translates in a lot of ways. I think that we often lead with what we wished we would have done or what we thought would have been the right way because of what we did. Yeah. What we should be leading with is our lessons. Lead with your lessons.
Yeah,
let them learn from your losses.
So how do you do that? Somebody say, I guess a really good communicator would be able to. Somebody say you should do this. He was like, "What didn't work for you?
Yeah.
It should do that." Like,
yeah, I'm be like, okay, and you could tell them. I'm always good with like supporting someone in what they've said, but moving on to what I want. But I either like, that's some good advice, but tell me what was the hardest part. Tell me what didn't go right. What was, those are the things that I want to know. I want to know what streets not to turn down. Don't tell me which one to do. Because we're all different. We all have different experiences. I may not ever get to that street you're telling me. I may not meet someone that's trying to do that. But just tell me what you think I shouldn't be doing based on your experience. And I think that's hard for people because they don't want to talk about their losses.
For sure.
They want to come from a place of wisdom and knowledge and tell you where to go. And if you're successful, then they get to smile and say, oh, I was a part of that.
But you know what? A person with wisdom would want to lead with their mistakes, especially if they know that nobody's going to really follow you if you're talking about, if you weren't good in it. Or you could say, so if you do have wisdom, you would start with that.
I think so. Yeah. And I think, and you can always say, I wished I would have done this. I imagine it would have been different had I done this, but I would definitely lead with the losses because I think that somebody could respect you more so for that because that's where your expertise is, in the loss. Don't nobody want to do that though. I don't want to be the expert loser. But But
that's where you get the best information.
it is. I think that, you're getting the success. You don't get your success in one shot. There were a whole bunch of other losses you had prior to that. So, I'm saying that's where the value is to me. But when it's like, when people talk about, well, my boyfriend said that his woman need to do this and his woman need to do that, but then they're able to reflect back to me what their relationship looks like with their mom, how they dislike things about their mom, and then they're trying to rewrite you. Or sometimes they want you to be just like the mama and they don't even know it, because believe it or not, when you grow up, you're either, if there is a situation in which it was a rough upbringing, some people grow up to be just like the parent that they dislike the most, and some of them will by any means get away from that person as far as property. You won't, the woman or the man they bring home will not look recognizable to y'all in the household. Y'all be like, because you're either going to embrace what is the word I want? You're going to embrace the dysfunction and you're just going to continue it on because this is the normal, or you're going to be like, this doesn't feel good to me. I was just talking to a young family member today and I was explaining to him, I'm just like, you got to break out some of that, because I know you've seen it. I know it's normal. I know that it feels familiar, and even if it's ugly, familiarity, there's safety in it, even if it's ugly. Like I told John before, there are people who tell me about things that are going on in their life, and to me, it's a fire. And I'm supposed to go help you put it out. And they be like, no, this is just a regular Wednesday. So, but I want, I think that that's one of the things I worry about is I don't want to be misled and I don't want to mislead. So I think that it's best to always give where you really have the expertise in. Don't tell me,
I know this does not work.
What? Do is a lot.
You will not win if you do it this way.
I'm going to tell you like this.
For real, like, you like, look,
When
whatever you're doing, look, you may found the way to do it, but don't do it this way.
Yeah. Because, and then follow up with because, don't just tell people don't, because
I've already lost. I failed at it and I look back and I know why it didn't work.
And I think one of the problems is oftentimes we're trying to advise people who are in their adolescent years. And adolescence is up to mid-20s. And when we're telling people, if we don't give a good because, if we don't expound on what we mean, they think they're invincible. And that's a part of their development. At the time, adolescent development, you are invincible. And they will think, that messed up because of you. That won't happen to me. But I think coming from a place where you're like not trying to tell people what to do, but just saying, let me just tell you what my experience was. Let me tell you why it didn't work. But also what this means is that you have to be in tune with you, why you make the decisions you're making, and your background. So it all comes back to you have to reflect on yourself before you could advise anybody else. You have to have a good idea about why you made those decisions.
Yes.
What were you looking at? Because I think that it's not just telling somebody what to do or not to do. It's giving them the whole picture of why you thought that way. Because I realize when I say something to kids, and I'll be like, because this is what I thought. Because then I was thinking this and I was thinking this. And then they realize we think just like we're old now. But I was 13 and I had 13 thoughts. 13-year-old thoughts and thinking that what I thought made sense at the time. And then when you tell them what you were really thinking, they'll be like, oh, they're thinking kind of like me. Yeah. I wasn't old then. Like I was thinking like you. My values and what I thought was high reward then is just like you, because I was that young.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's hard for us to be open and vulnerable with younger people because we feel like we lose face or that sense of being more wise. And like, I think coming down to their level and talking to them, there are certain people that you look down on them and you talk to them. There's other people that you look at them eye to eye and say, I'm trying to guide you somewhere. And kids are like that. I don't think kids operate as well in guidance of how to move through life when people are talking down. then they need to be like this.
For sure. But that's taught though, because I mean, who takes communication that seriously? Where we can talk face to face and like, hey, but it always comes from somebody's always talking down to some capacity, this exchanging information versus this is what I am, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking last night with our kids and just talking to them about, you know, our oldest is going to college next year, and conversations and how people drum up conversations is going to be a little bit different, and what they're going to ask, and being able to ping pong back those questions that they're asking you. And it makes me think of this, because even when you're talking to your kids, it should be a back and forth. My favorite thing is be like, what do you think? What would you do? Well, how do you think you would handle it? What do you think was wrong with what I did? Because when they do that, then they're processing what you're saying too. And then they're a part of it where they're able to think through what they would do and how they would feel. A lot of times we could talk to people and they lose their attention span. While you over here running your mouth trying to get the best, your little wisdom out. She over there doing their grocery list of their head. They over here like, this wine tastes good. Like, so, yeah, I think that even if people don't know that they're focusing on communication or learning about communication, I think that a lot of it is we just need to remember what we were like. And then if we remember what we were like at that time, what we were thinking, and we give a little bit more grace and come to where they are. They always say in social work, they'll talk about meeting people where they are. You meet people where they are, and then they get the message better with you.
That's a different awareness though.
It is. It is.
So that's what I'm saying. Like if you're working on that, that's why I say the kids, if they get anything, they're gonna be like so much further than us anyway, because there's no way we were like, they're so emotionally aware of things, like, you know.
Yeah.
So to me, you know, we just don't want them to feel awkward in social interaction because of their attention span, like you said. Like you just not listening. Somebody says something and you say something that makes no sense.
So they all the way over here now. They're like, just some more. But yeah, I think that was the biggest thing. But circling back to what you were asking before, I think that that's the thing that I'm most concerned about is when I'm talking to people, I'm hoping that I'm getting my message across. And the message across is always to do better than I did. But I'm not always telling them exactly what I did and how that was messed up. I'm usually telling them to do something. That's probably why I be messing up. Look, I be trying to talk to people all the time and tell them what to do. We have a family member. We always try and tell them what to do. And they never do what we tell them to do. But
we even say the way you're doing is not going to work either, though.
Yeah, but they're like, okay, so you can read, like, you know the future.
Well, I just know that the track record says, hey, like if you were not in the movie, you'd be watching it with me. And you'd be like, don't do it.
But you limited. And you about to open the door.
Like check this out. I don't want you to lose. Like, is that hard to believe? Like, I don't want you to lose. And for some reason, you believe, like, you know what? I want to lose this way.
I'm going to die on this hill. This is what...
I'm proving you wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think at some point, as we get older, maybe there'll be a shift in the way that people communicate, or we can do a better job at it as exchanging information.
Yeah.
Because there is a horrible circle or a cycle that's hard to break if nobody's listening to you.
Nobody's listening. Yeah.
Turn the TV off. Man.
Well, yes. Okay. Well, I'm ready to go have some perfume and some cologne amazing.
No doubt. Well, we'd like to thank you guys for tuning in and watching our birthday weekend. Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose.